It seems that saving the streets of Los Angeles and indeed the entire world is becoming somewhat of a theme on this season's guest list. Why? Only the other day we were talking to Jack Bauer, and today's star, well, he wears many hats. Rapper, actor, producer, fitness guru, and, most recently, TV's latest crime buster. Hello, I'm Alex Zane, and in about 1 minute I'm going to be meeting a man who I can categorically say the ladies love. With a slew of hits, he's won Grammy Awards after making his mark on the music industry with tracks like I Can't Live Without My Radio. But I'm more interested in which movies he can't live without. So join me as we find out.
I am your host.
Episode 3, Season 4 of The Guest List is proud to present a man who has ditched his name for a cryptic abbreviation. When not rapping, he fights crime on TV, shows off his enviable physique, and even finds the time to make a few movies too. And today, he's joining me on The Guest List. LL Cool J, welcome to The Guest List. Thank you for joining us, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here. How are you enjoying London?
I'm loving it. You know, I love the culture. I always have fun. You know, I was in the plane on my way here, looked out the left side of the plane. I saw Windsor Castle. I was like, yes, I'm here. You know, it was great. It's great.
Good. Good. I mean, you're really busy at the moment, so we appreciate you being here. Because NCIS Los Angeles, this is a huge show. For those who don't know what it's about, can you give us a brief overview?
It's the Naval Criminal Investigation Service, and it's an agency in the U.S. And basically, we are a special ops division within that agency, and we go undercover and we deal with high-level criminals, terrorists, ongoing criminal investigations of the highest nature that are threats to democracy.
Werner, get out of the car. Federal agents, put the weapons down!
Put the weapons down!
This is gonna be some nasty goulash.
It's a spin-off of the original NCIS, but
Yes.
in America it's about 18 million people tuning in to see it. What has the feedback been like?
It's been pretty exciting, man. We just want to get better and better and try to get the chemistry better and, you know, just have a good time.
Now, you mentioned the chemistry on set, and you and Chris O'Donnell, who plays opposite you, do have great chemistry.
Does it have a jacuzzi? If it has, I'm gonna drown you in it.
Now, was that something you had to work at, sort of, did you spend some time together beforehand, or did it just there?
Luck of the draw, man.
Yeah?
You know, like it just happened. You know, we, came to find out that we have a lot in common and we get along and it's really cool. And we just really, it works. It's synergy.
Because, I mean, the cameraman there in the green T-shirt, the guy with no shoes on.
Oh, boy.
He was actually, I'm sorry about that.
Is that a normal thing?
No, it's very
yeah.
abnormal.
Yeah.
It's an ugly situation to
Yeah,
present you
yeah,
with,
yeah,
like
yeah.
a huge star, and there's a guy with his ugly toes
Yeah.
out, you know. Yeah, he actually saw you. He was filming on the Paramount set in LA, and he saw you and Chris filming. He said, "Look like you're having a great time."
I would encourage you to not get the French pedicure, but yeah, it was a lot of fun on the set.
I'm going to choose my words carefully here, but like, you are a man who I look at and think you have an enviable physique. Now, I mean that as a man who spends his day sitting on a sofa watching movies. You know, this is the product of that, you know, the kind of pale, like, what's the sun? So how much work do you do? I mean, first of all, do you do your own stunts?
You know, I do the majority of my stunts. I really do. I think that the audience wants to see the guy do it. Like, you know, they don't want to see LL, a guy with a hairy chest. LL, a guy with a blonde wig. LL, a girl flipping. LL, an Asian guy comes busting through a window. LL, you know, they want to see me do the stunts. So I just try to do the best that I can do to, you know, give people that. And I think they deserve that.
So you've taken time out of your busy schedule to pick 4 movies that you love,
Yeah.
to recommend to other people, movies you love that you think other people might take a great deal of pleasure from. And the first one on the list has never been picked before, and it's from 2001, A Beautiful Mind.
You are the best natural code breaker I have ever seen.
What's wrong with you?
You can't reason your way out of it.
What is it about that film that you love?
Well, first of all, I think that Russell Crowe did a great job in portraying or bringing to life John Nash. John Nash was an amazing mathematician. He created Nash equilibrium, which is an incredibly innovative concept, and when applied to your life can be amazing as well.
If we all go for the blonde, we block each other, not a single one of us is going to get her. So then we go for her friends. But they will all give us the cold shoulder because nobody likes to be second choice. But what if no one goes for the blonde? We don't get in each other's way, and we don't insult the other girls. That's the only way we win.
Then this is also a character who had so many demons that he had to fight. We may not be hallucinating to the degree that he was.
You leave her out of this.
Who are you talking to?
But we all can relate on some level to what this character was going through. I mean, this guy was tormented, but he was brilliant, and he was a genius, and he loved his family, but he had issues. And,
he did have issues.
It was just a really entertaining film.
So Crowe was actually nominated for the Oscar for his performance.
I think it was phenomenal. I think he was, I mean, with all due respect, I think that was more Oscar-worthy than Gladiator, you know?
He's got as much of a reputation off screen as he does for being a hugely talented actor. Yeah. And he had an altercation at the BAFTAs because something was cut and, well, it wasn't a pleasant situation. Can you justify outbursts like that?
Look, we all get in moods, man. You know, it's just that when you're an artist or a celebrity, you live your life on the stage and your moods are public. Like, I saw Russell Crowe one day. It was so funny. The first time I ever met this guy, he was walking in and these reporters or something were howling, and he was like, "Get away from me. There's LL Cool J right there. Go over there." I'm like, yo, this guy's crazy. I said, that's how I met him. That's LL Cool J. Go over there. I'm like, okay, Russ, thank you. Appreciate that. You know what I mean?
As well as Russell Crowe, it's an amazing cast. You've got Jennifer Connelly, Paul Bettany, and I mean, director Ron Howard, he delivers quality films.
Well, the thing about, you know, Ron Howard is that you always care about the characters in his movies. You know, when you think about Apollo 13, you know, anything he does, you just always care. You know, like I cared about John Nash, I cared about Tom Hanks in Apollo. I care about those characters, so. And I remember being a little kid watching him on Happy Days. And then, you know, then all of a sudden I just found out that he was this fantastic, unbelievably phenomenal director.
Now, did you get a shock? Because the first time I saw him after becoming aware of him as a director, he was bald. I was like, what happened?
Well, you know, it's hard for me to go there because I am super bald. I mean, you know, I'm probably as bald as it possibly can be. Mr. T has way more hair than me, and that's crazy. But
I like the fact you put super in front of it.
Yeah, super bald.
It makes it sound like a power. I'm not just bald. I'm a hero.
I'm super bald. Jumping through the TV. I'm super bald. And with the head coming out. Oh, that's crazy. Oh no, that'll be a cartoon.
Right then. Next movie on our list today is from 2008, and it's Defiance.
If you save a life, you must take responsibility for it.
Nothing is impossible. What we all have done is impossible.
I thought Daniel Craig did an amazing job. I thought that there was an icy emotion.
You want time? Fine. I'll give you time. A day, a month, maybe even a year to live.
You know, first of all, this is a story about Jewish resistance and, you know, these bootleggers / hustlers whose whole family got killed, and these 3 or 4 brothers get together out in the woods to survive, and they end up bringing together this huge clan. And I think it's an amazing human story. I mean, at one point he actually like shot his horse because the whole clan was starving. I mean, they built schools, they built hospitals. Watchmakers were fixing guns. They created laws, rules, principles. They were having weddings. All of this while they would be hunted by Nazis in the woods.
We may be hunted like animals, but we will not become animals. And if we should die, trying to live, then at least we die like human beings.
I sort of now view it as it's the serious version of Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, it is. But there's something about Defiance that resonates the reality and the truth of it, you feel like you're sitting in the woods with them. You feel like you're huddling around the fire when he's sick and that woman takes care of him and nurses him back to health. There are just things that happen when the big guy in the camp is challenging, you know, Daniel Craig's authority because Daniel Craig is sick.
What is this?
New policy. You are no longer commander.
And he turns around and has to deal with him. I don't want to spoil it for the folks at home. He has to deal with that. It's amazing.
So you mentioned Daniel Craig's performance.
Yeah.
He's Bond as well. And he's a Bond that sort of a lot of people went, really? You know, like...
I love him as Bond. You know, I've always been a fan of the James Bond series. I think that he brings a harder-edged Bond. There's pain, there's torment, there's something going on underneath that's a little more tormented. You know, it's cool the way he plays Bond.
Would you give it a shot if someone turned around to you and went, do you fancy being Bond?
I'd like to be the villain.
It never ends well for them.
That's all right. It begins. It's wonderful. It's a hell of a ride.
Yeah?
Ooh-wee.
What would be your thing? I mean, we had in Casino Royale the bleeding eye, which was, you know, a little bit like, well, what else are you going to do with your life? One of your eyes bleeds. You've got to be a Bond villain.
Well, I don't think my eyes would bleed,
No.
but I'd bet you it'd be interesting.
Would you do that at the pivotal scene? Would you take your glasses off like that?
Is that what just happened? Was that scary?
I was just like...
1 billion to the billion to the billion. Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
If you could pick a Bond girl, though, I mean, you know, ladies love Cool J.
Yeah.
Who would be your perfect Bond girl?
Yeah, I might have a few of those.
Yeah? Just a harem of Bond girls.
Yeah. These are the Bond girls. I want you to meet me a billion, but to meet the Bond girl. Yeah.
So you'd walk into the cast and be a lot of girls there, and they go, so, who's your Bond girl? You'd be
check
like,
my videos. You gotta check my resume. Look at I have all the Bond girls you want. I got that covered. Don't worry about that.
They will do.
We will
as
take
the
care
Bond
of that.
girl.
Yeah, we'll take care of that.
Yeah.
We'll take care of that.
Right then, that is it for part 1 of the guest list. But join me in part 2, and we'll be hearing more about the favourite films of Mr. LL Cool J. See you in a moment. Hello and welcome back to part 2 of the guest list, where I'm talking through the favourite films of Mr. LL Cool J. Now, before we discuss more movies, it's the time of year, World Cup time, where we have someone do the customary rap about the World Cup, and inevitably it's someone who has never rapped before, and you get things like, I'm going to kick the ball down the hall, or, yeah, look, it's a goal, ho.
Goal!
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, would you ever consider... Would you ever consider doing a soccer rap?
I think I have to refrain.
Okay,
I think I have a feeling that the UK football fans might see through that. Hello, you never mentioned soccer in the 80s. You didn't mention football in the 90s. I think I better stay away from that. I do like the sport, and I do appreciate it. I would love to go to the World Cup.
Yeah.
I saw the guys in their gray suits, the gents ready, fresh, getting on the plane.
Yeah.
Everybody's making 100,000 pounds a week in the newspaper and all that. Yay, I saw them, but, you know.
Now, earlier we were talking about Russell Crowe playing the life of John Nash in A Beautiful Mind. Who would play you in a story of your life, or whose story would you like to portray on screen?
That's interesting. I don't know if I'm quite worthy of, you know, somebody doing my life story yet. I think that I want to give myself a little more time. It's like I was talking to this producer, you know, in L.A., Ken Ehrlich, and he was like, you know, oh, you're doing well, and you're almost a legend, you know. It was, you know.
Still involves the word legend.
Yeah, it almost.
Almost.
You know? So when we get there, then we'll talk about the movie. As far as who I would love to portray, I mean, I know that there's a lot of debates about his racial heritage and his ethnicity. But if there was any way to deal with that and resolve that, I think Hannibal, the Carthaginian general, would be a very interesting character. That being said, I also love Jimi Hendrix, and you know, there's a lot of other people that I think are very cool, but Hannibal, I think, is a great story.
That would be an epic film. You'd have elephants crossing, what was it?
The Alps.
The Alps, yeah.
The Battle of Cannae, you know, him against the Roman army. Him hesitating and not going into Rome when he should have. Yeah. That probably saved Rome. You know, he's a pretty interesting character.
Let's talk about another film now.
All right.
And this one is from 1993. It's Indecent Proposal.
Would you mind lending me your wife?
The dress is for sale.
just an interesting analysis or study of human behavior and how people respond to temptation and respond to opportunity.
Suppose I were to offer you $1 million for one night with your wife.
I'd assume you're kidding.
Let's pretend I'm not. What would you say?
He'd tell you to go to hell.
I didn't hear him.
I'd tell you to go to hell.
It's actually like sitting in a philosophy lecture, and it's because there's so much morality and, you know, what's moral and when is it moral.
I guess it's about sacrifice as well. It's about
greed.
Greed. I mean,
lust.
It begs the question. I mean, it's that question that you like you say, it's philosophical in the sense that you ask yourself, given the same circumstances as are in the film, would you accept the money you need and sort of let your partner be with another man? I mean, you're sort of just going, well, would I? I mean, like £1 million? Well, you can buy a lot of video games for £1 million. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is the thing. Would you?
My Bond girl? For £1 million?
Yeah. Just one of them.
You know, that's an interesting question, man. I think I'll reserve answering. I think I'll leave the whole entire UK in suspense right now, because they definitely want to know.
People checking their bank balance going, how much have you got? Because if I put that together, that's £72. You reckon he'll go for it?
Now listen, I'm not encouraging it. I'm not encouraging it, but would you let your spouse sleep with someone for £1 million?
Answer after the break. In terms of the cast, Woody Harrelson. I love Woody Harrelson. He's great in this. He got the part after the director, Adrian Lyne, saw him in White Men Can't Jump.
I thought Woody Harrelson, he was in pain. I thought that he was hurt. I felt like he was just downtrodden and needed the money and was in love and confused and couldn't make up his mind.
Where is she? Where's my wife?
I loved it. And then Robert Redford, it was like they were both victims of the same hypocrisy, you know what I mean? You know, Robert Redford was in pain and, you know, it was just a very interesting movie. I mean, it was just, you know, Demi was pre-Ashton Kutcher Demi.
Yes.
Really just...
She was still with Bruce at that point. I think Woody Harrelson got a bit... He loved working with her, apparently, but he got a little bit nervous because he was good friends with Bruce Willis, and obviously...
He wasn't that nervous. He took the role. I'm so nervous about working with your wife. I'm really nervous about working with your wife.
You've already signed a contract, though. Well, yeah, but
I am nervous, you know.
And it's got Oliver Platt in, who, whenever someone picks a movie with Oliver Platt, I'm like, I wish he was in more. I just think he's a fantastic actor.
Ooh, big deal.
He is, and he always has like it's something about his haircut and the look on his face. He's always like, he's an interesting actor. He's kind of smart and kind of like every man, and you feel like you know him, but you know
he's
like
got these eccentricities as well.
I agree.
She says she doesn't want the money.
Well, I don't want the money either.
I'll take it.
You can't mention it without mentioning the great Robert Redford. I mean, there's a screen legend as well.
You know, Robert is, you know, I mean, what can you say? He's all that in a bag of chips.
And if you were mine, I wouldn't share you with anyone.
It's the guy who doesn't need an adjective, really. You just go, it's Robert Redford. You go,
period.
Right.
He is an adjective. You know.
I've gone Robert Redford on that.
Yeah, I'm going Robert Redford on him right now. You know what I mean? I'm getting my Robert Redford on. You know, he's great. Yeah.
And on to your final choice from 1993. I'm so glad you picked this. It's an amazing film, Carlito's Way.
The prisoner's discharged. Call the next case.
I ain't going back to prison no matter what. Never give up your friends, Dave.
It's a familiar story. It's the story of a gangster wanting to go straight. Why do you like it?
First of all, I thought Al Pacino did a great job. He's playing a Puerto Rican man in this movie, which was pretty challenging. You look at his beard, he has the right beard, it looks real. I thought his accent was spot on.
You've done enough already for me, Dave.
You call it favor between friends.
No favor, I owe you. Favor gonna kill you faster than a bullet.
Sean Penn, you know, his performance.
I have to do this, Dave. I'm asking for your help.
Dave, you a lawyer, man. What is happening to you?
You know, I felt like I was a recovering addict just watching him. You know, he was riveting. You hung on every moment. You know, he's brushing off the desk. Okay, send him in. You know,
it is that. It gets under your skin and you're sort of repulsed, but you can't take your eyes off him. Yeah, I think he was coaxed out of early retirement to play this character, and I mean, like you say, it's one of his best performances.
It's Jekyll and Hyde. Yeah. You know, he's like the innocent guy before Al Pacino's character was incarcerated. Al Pacino's character returns. Now he's become this monster. He's like a wolf in sheep's clothing. You know, like that. Like when he's sitting there with the mob boss. It was like,
you look at my hands, huh? Now you make me raise my voice and I'll snap your neck like a breadstick.
And he's just all squirmy. And then when Al Pacino asks him about the money and he, you know, says what he says.
You did take the $1 million, didn't you?
Yeah. You ain't a lawyer no more, Dave. You a gangster now. You on the other side.
Whole new ball game.
It was a great performance.
And committed as well. I mean, like, you know, he shaved his hairline to give the receding look. And that's it. It's just committed. For me, that's committed.
The hairline was outrageous. It was like he's giving you the Willie way back. It was.
I mean, you worked with Sean Penn on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
How was that? What was he like?
Sean Penn back then, you know, this was a lot earlier. It was like '87. So he was like, he had more of that bad boy image back then.
Yeah.
And Madonna was, I think, at that time involved, and he was like, it was cool though. We had a great time. It's funny, I ran into him one day. I was at a hotel in LA, and out of nowhere, I just saw him standing there. And hey, Al, happy birthday. He knew it was my birthday. I'm like, huh? This is crazy. It's the most random thing in the world.
And you worked with Al Pacino as well.
Yes, worked with Al Pacino.
Any Given Sunday was the film you worked together. Now, what was that like?
I mean, it's like getting to play the guitar with Jimi Hendrix or Eric Clapton. It's amazing. You know, he's a virtuoso. He is, you know, Pavarotti.
He's a legend.
He's a legend, and he's phenomenal. It was great to work with. We hung out, went to his house. So I got Oliver Stone. He's running around. He walks in, you know, swinging, chilling. Al Pacino's in here. I'm like, yo, this is surreal right now. This is so hilarious. It's a lot of fun. We went out to dinner, hung out. Great guy.
The pivotal scene in that film as well, the Grand Central Station chase is just, it's one of the great chase sequences in cinema, really.
Yeah, it's some interesting moments. Benny Blanco from the Bronx.
John Leguizamo is great.
John Leguizamo did a great job. And then there was a little Keystone Cops isms, you know, a little Three Stooges stuff with the wise guys chasing them. But it was good. It was well done. The fat guys out of breath. It was great. It was great. I really enjoyed that film. And I think you guys at home will enjoy my choices.
I think they will as well. They were 4 great choices. And LL Cool J, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
So there you have it. Russell Crowe uses him as a decoy when the paparazzi are around. And he's not just bald, he's super bald. That was LL Cool J on the guest list. Join me next time when another of our favourite stars picks their favourite films. Bye-bye.